In the Wild Planet fights on, Hope in Your Heart coming home well, but Riodini hits the lead from Wild Planet. Riodini clear in the gong, Hope in Your Heart late. Riodini's gong, Riodini beat Hope in Your Heart.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm up and about. Waltz found the right house this time. Let's go.
Yeah, I plugged it in. I took the other one out. I took the other one out of the GPS.
Big week of the bowls. You're up at Sunshine Coast bowling. What's going on
Everyone's
there?
watching World Cup. They don't understand the World Cup was on at the Sunshine Coast. World Cup of bowling concluded yesterday. There was me and about 8 other people in there. Awesome. Best bowlers in the world, paying like $20. They're all whinging about the $20. I would have paid $200. It was awesome.
What, people paid to go in to watch it?
You don't understand. You don't appreciate high-level anything. That's why you hang around people like us.
I'll tell you what, I know what I see, and it was a bit of a rort, or there's just something not quite right about this god of yours, this guy, Justin Bellamonte. Or
Jason, mate. He's Australian, Jason, and he's the GOAT, and you don't even know his name. It's like not knowing Roger Federer's name.
Jason Bellamonte, this bloke, he bowls 2 hands, so it's instant disqualification.
He's holding it with the right. He's got thumb out. You could just say he holds it and he just lets it go.
I was waiting for the ramp that you push down. You know when you push the bowl down the ramp with 2 hands as
Mate,
a kid?
if you can get 300 with the ramp, I'll let you use the ramp.
If I bring my own ramp.
He was a bit stiff, the old German. The German strung a few together and beat him in the final, and he was depressed because all he loves is he does this terrible celebration like some boom, like he's from Street Fighter or something, old Belmonte, and he lost in a playoff, second round game, and then lost by 5 pins or something. It cost him the World Cup. He was shattered.
I'm going to ask the boys in Melbourne 2 questions. A, would you pay $20 to go watch 10-pin bowling? And B, do you know who Jason Bellamonte is? DK?
No, not a. I only saw Walt put a video up on him the other day, just knocking everything down or something, and they're all cheering him or whatever. Does he represent Australia or Queensland or something? Is he that good, or is he just?
No, he's Australia. He's like he's won like 15 majors. He's won more majors than anyone ever, and he's like whatever. He's dead set like the Jack Nicklaus of bowling, and he's from Dubbo, mate. No, he's from Orange. He's from Orange, huh?
Is there a quid in it for him? Would he?
About him and about 4 other people in the world.
Is it?
Yeah, that's about it. But so they were bowling for 100,000 first prize in the 80s and 90s, and now they're bowling for 100,000 first prize. So they've gone the reverse PVL.
So did you play at all in this?
It's a World Cup, mate. It's like 4 people from the country. I bowl against Mongoloids at, geez, that was a bit harsh, bit ball Mongos, but I bowl against people of my level, Mongos.
So you've driven 3 hours and paid $20 to go watch
2? What do you drive?
God.
I did it 3 times. I went up and back 3 times. I got to say, I was the only one there with 2 computers and the races playing the whole time. You wouldn't believe that, would you?
I would believe that.
Any betting? Is there any betting on the 10-pin bowling championships in Australia or anything? Or?
Did have a look just quietly, but didn't see any markets, which is shattering because, mate, it's like most sports when you get down to these most countries, battlers that are top 4 of the country, and then you got like Singapore, Malaysia, where it's their national sport, and they're just like machines. They just don't miss, and they're like fully coached. It's crazy, but anyway, it's good fun.
Nico Noonan, you've ever been 10-pin bowling? It's a bit of a bygone era. It's sort of...
It's good fun.
What, like just normal bowling?
Yeah, go with your missus, taking the missus for a date. Yeah, it's good fun, isn't it?
Yep.
You can have a drink at a lot of those joints now, wherever they're set up, you can bar and throw them down. And
a lot of them have karaoke as well now. Have you seen that?
The karaoke room,
They have like a little karaoke room as well. So
Now
it's got laser tag, bowling and karaoke.
Karaoke.
I'd be in.
You'd be in.
I'd be in
just
karaoke.
leave out the bowling, just straight into the karaoke and laser tag.
Nico, you're on fire. On a more serious note, your launch lobbed again. Any stats for your launch strike rate and pot? Must be absolutely humming along.
What'd you launch on, Nico? What'd you launch on?
Oceana Blue.
Oceana Blue.
Good crack at. Just found the box seat. And
you backed it to beat something. Obviously, the second favourite in that race. Who's the second favourite trained by who you were potting?
It's a long time ago, DK.
I don't remember either.
I know who it was. I was watching Tycoon.
Huh?
That was Trent.
Yeah.
You were taking on Trent aggressively.
Well, we sort of swung from the first race. We backed Trent, and he probably should have won. So we thought, well, that was his chance for the day, and then we were against him for the rest of it. So.
All right. What else happened out there yesterday?
Not much. Sort of had a good result there, and that sort of just set up the rest of the day. Tried to sort of find a few outside the market. They ran well, sort of thirds and fourths most of the day, but nothing else really sort of jumped off the page there. But I think the main thing will be, yesterday was probably a day where the track was drying out, and then Saturday we're going to have really sort of firm conditions here for racing.
27 degrees.
Getting away from these bloody wet tracks is going to be good.
Next 2 Saturdays, it's beautiful. Just having a look, 27 degrees both days. Now, I was listening to Josh Blanksby the other night on .com there, Nico, and he said because they're closing Caulfield to do the track for the next 6 months, the new winter track, they've spent $6 million at Sandown getting it up to speed so everyone's groused. Now, can you see evidence out there going to Sandown with the $6 million that's been spent upgrading facilities and things like that? Because it's going to be hosting the Futurity and the ore and all this. So is there good evidence there? Is it grouse out there at the moment? Or
not yet. You can see there's some things that they're working on. They've taken down a few sort of very old fences and those things that have been there since I can remember. So there's a few areas there that if they wanted to really vamp it up, they could have a few areas that sort of could have places where people could get around and have their sort of little party scene, but not be too close to the track or whatever. I think it can work.
Yeah,
the big days there. The interesting thing is they're going to extend the straight for the 1100 meter races. I don't know if you saw that.
He said, they're going to have 2 winning posts. Yeah.
So they'll be the Oakley played out of the chute at Sandown.
Yeah,
so
and the Blue Diamond preludes.
I think it can work. Like the big day at Sandown in the spring was really good. The Underwood, it was very well received. There's a lot of people there, so it'll be interesting to sort of watch those races. But it is a great track. Like we'd be so lost without it. Even yesterday, it's a tough track, the Lakeside to make ground, but the hillsides are great. Like you know what you're going to get. Hillside you can run on, Lakeside's probably a bit tougher, but gee, if we lost it and we were battling around at Mornington and bloody Pakenham and Cranbourne every week and not Sandown, it'd be hard going.
It's interesting, isn't it? Spend $6 million at a joint that is got its future like up in the air, apparently.
It's the first time I've heard of it any other than they're going to sell it and they're spending $6 million on it. I don't know. So hopefully that's a good sign because I hope they don't sell it. It's a great facility.
I think the answer is going to be like what they did with, unless this is going to be down the track. He says it's 2 years from anything happening, but the answer is going to be what they did at Moonee Valley, isn't it? And what they're going to do at Flemington.
Sell some of it.
They've got the grouse, all the grouse land surrounding it, stacks of land, so sell some of it for, whatever, develop some, put some houses in there and make a truckload out of that, but keep the actual track.
I thought the Zipping Classic, it sounds like the Zipping Classic's going to switch with the Caulfield Cup if the rumour mill sort of is correct.
Talking about
is correct. Well, you've got this meeting, it's been pushed back, and then there's some sort of talk out there that the Zipping Classic, wait for age, will go where the Caulfield Cup is, and the Caulfield Cup handicap will be this weekend.
You're going to have millions off me, millions.
Oh, give me $1 on then.
The Caulfield Cup's their premier thing. What they should have, they pushed this meeting back. There should be a Group 1 on today. Should be a Group 1 on Saturday. This fresh air at the end of for the industry and whoever wants to have the days at the end of November, early December. Look at Perth. Cummings has taken his horses there. So, there's a Group 1 on over there. There should be Group 1 races here. So
maybe the Sir Rupert Clark might be the one that they push back.
Yeah,
but,
there you go. Yeah, throw one up. Well, why not? But the training joint is better than anyone. Mar Eustace. The training methods these days, like there's not enough gap in time to put them in the paddock to get them up for the autumn. But the way, they keep them in work. They keep them fresh. They put them on the water walker. They might give them a week in the paddock, bring them back. They don't give them 2 months. Unless they really need to now, unless they're young horses developing their bones and things like that. They don't want them getting fat in the paddock. They want sort of, and losing all their work. So water walkers, bit of dressage, bit of this, bit of that, in and out. They can keep them ticking over and then rev them up, get them in the stables for a month and get them towards those races they're targeting.
Yeah, look, it makes sense. I know there was a bit of talk about sort of moving a few races last year around, especially the Caulfield 1400 metre races. Well, I suppose the Rupert Clark probably comes into that, and the Orr and the Futurity and the Heffernan's now 1400 metre Group 3. So I think there was a bit of talk of moving one of them to this day last year. I haven't heard anything since. I don't know. I don't know if maybe if you moved it and you'd probably have to wait a few years so the trainers really sort of get around it. But the fields they're still getting on this day, I don't think any of these races would warrant having a Group 1.
But Cummings has taken he's happy. He's one of the best stables in the country. He's happy to keep these horses up.
Like, is that really a Group 1? Like, it's Palele.
But he's taken them all the way over there.
Yeah.
He'd rather them be here. I know that. But I see your point. But he'd rather have race for that prize money and that status in Melbourne than have to cart them all the way to Perth.
Yeah, I think they're just chasing the G1 status with a few of them. Like, Palele needs probably a Group 1 win to stand for anything as a stallion, and then, Rothfire, the caravan show rolls on there. He's going to go wherever the races are. By the looks of it, that horse, he's going to probably run around every carnival, you would think. So, yeah, we'll probably touch on Perth later in the show. I know Trav Man's coming aboard to have a chat there, but yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a bit like last year. This Zipping Classic, it's kind of baffling. It's worth 750,000, but anyway, good luck to them.
Yeah, well, it's probably on par given there's $20 million races up in New South Wales.
Mate, the Ingham race is in 2 weeks for $2 million.
That's right.
I'm tipping the Zipping Classic's going to be a better race.
Pot prize money down here, Nico.
It's
Let
unbelievable.
alone the bloody North Koreans.
The problem is Nico's right. That's the problem. We're just 3 times more wrong.
It's an interesting one. There's a bit of a news flash coming out of New South Wales. How's this? Richie Calendar's column, the little tweet up on the screen, my column at RaceNet. Night racing a hit due to new ways to wager. I thought this article would be 15 years old. Have they just cottoned on with mobile betting and online betting and sitting at home on a Friday night or a Thursday night as Victoria does all the time? And new ways to wager. It's not odds and evens. They're talking about night racing and shifting more day meetings to night racing.
I'll just give everyone the tip. Anyone that he tags there, this is going to be the best tip you'll get all week. Mute them. Anyone he tags, mute.
They're putting the lights in at Randwick, are they?
I don't know, but
I saw the little. I didn't read the whole article.
What are the new ways to
right?
wager? Promo bets, and you know, if you get your money back if it runs 14th in a field of 7. What are the new ways to bet? The only new ways to bet you
The
can't
little bit
bet.
I saw, they've applied to switch 10 or 12 day meetings to night meetings at Randwick. That's what I saw. I don't
like
subscribe.
twilight or night, like actually put in lights.
I think it must be putting in lights. They've asked for the Department of Planning's approval.
Good luck.
Must want to put in lights and race under the lights at Randwick.
Why? Just to spend another 100 million?
It's just unbelievable, isn't it? Like they've realised, okay, if you put the Everest next to the Caulfield Cup, wagering will go up. Well, if there's all these new ways to bet or night racing is a good thing, well, Victoria's been doing it for ever and a day, this night racing thing. So just mirror their product and guess who will be happy? Punters.
You know what would be nice if they mirrored their tax thing so that, you know, Betfair wouldn't be 1/5 of what Victoria is and they wouldn't have to rely on promo bets and all this other garbage and deposit bonuses to boost their false turnover in New South Wales to make it look all pretty. You know, how about you just cut all the taxes and encourage turnover and maybe that'll help too.
Surely if they're looking at a night racing venue like Randwick, surely they'd be looking at getting rid of one of the other tracks up there in Sydney, like Warwick Farm or
Druitt Street would be a nice one to get rid of.
That's glaring.
Canterbury's where they've always raced at night, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd think if they're going to put in lights at Randwick, or you might not need that one then. And that's where you could fund it.
They might just need to turn on the lights at Racing New South Wales. See if anyone's home.
Canterbury's a time bomb. As soon as anything bad happens and everything sort of starts to come to the surface, bye-bye Canterbury.
Sold. Highest bidder.
Well, that might be it. There you go.
Oh, yeah, that'd be, I guess it's just the transition to sell Canterbury, I would assume. All right, here's Trackscran, at Trackscran on Twitter. This is a beauty, and I've got a bit of a grudge to pick with the Don. The Don informs me that my Willumbar has got bad food, and this is old Pa, Paul Joyce, ex-RaceNet now on Sky Racing. That's calamari, chips with a pretty fancy salad. I'd say fancy because there's red onion there, cucumber, and there's beautiful avocado, an abundance of avocado. The avocados up here.
That's not
massive.
Real. He brought that with him.
Hey?
Mate, that's where my missus is from, right? She says the sister-in-law's gone down there the other day for a little school catch-up with her friends. They've cut out of the reunion so that they can go smoke a couple of billies. This is the blues. And then go fishing in the pond with a net where they go and catch the fish, the little like guppies, and then bring them back and put it in the tank. That's Merbar. That's not Merbar. Whatever you got there, that is absolutely photoshopped. That is not come from Merbar.
We're doing
Paul
a road
Joyce
trip.
is cracking them.
We're going to go to Bow Desert. We're going to go to Mawilumbar, and I'm going to go to all these little whistle-stop tracks.
You say all this, mate, and then you go, I've got to take the kids to school. I got the school drop-off. I've got to go to kids this. I can't go. You are full of it.
No, I'm going. I'm going to make you and Donnie come with me, and we'll do something. We might do a punters club. Who knows what we'll do. I'm going to go there and bet.
We've got to get there first.
Yeah, you'll be right. You don't drink, so you're driving.
No worries.
Sucked
Any
in.
bowling alleys on the way?
Everything's falling apart. What isn't falling apart is Manscaped. And in all honesty, it's back on my desk because I need it daily. I just love the feeling of a clean beak. I do. I love it. I just sit here, which is a bit gross.
What about the difference?
And just leave nose hairs all over my desk.
I'm that gone. I can hardly walk. My back's cooked or whatever. You get the nose hairs grow quicker than the lawn out the front, even though I don't have a lawn anymore. Got rid of all that too.
Yeah, and you'll start becoming addicted to be
Breathing.
hairless.
Breathing.
Hairless. Yeah, breathe better and you'll be more hairless. Or you have less hair.
Less hair.
Less hair. That's
They
what I
should
mean.
do a dolphin
Manscaped,
version.
20% off. Little Birdie is the code, so it's an absolute beauty.
Imagine that if the dolphin had the
Hey?
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Dolphin-shaped lawnmower.
Maybe we should sell that idea to Manscaped.
Manscaped Dolphin clippers. Today's show is going to be good. How's Donnie last week? Graft on. We all laughed at him. King of graft on. He's the king of the Northern Rivers. He's deadly. Donnie.
He's deadly.
Deadly Donnie. And then you needed the defibrillator, didn't you, after Key Largo second last week up at...
that was the life changer. It was still a good day, but that was the life changer.
The gong. What is it?
Yeah. With the run to paradise or whatever.
Yeah, and all the grabber grannies.
I love that poor Reggie Bayless after it. He's like on brutality. He's like, it wasn't ideal that we were in the gates for 5 minutes and then we got pulled back out. Then we got put back in and the poor horse was asleep by the time we jumped out of a, $1 million race just waiting for a run to paradise to finish in some wombat bloody poor old mate there to hit the gong.
T-Dogs is back with the Ascot. I tell you what, I'm nearly cured of Perth racing.
Mate, this is why they can't have good racing this time of year, because we're all cactus. Nico hasn't seen the races today. DK, I don't know. DK's like up and about. We're all gone. We're all fried.
I tell you what, guess what? It's like someone's trolling me. Robbie Heathcote, Uncle Robbie's trolling me. He's put Ollie on Rothfire, so that's going to be interesting, that preview. Bet Doctor Lay of the Week, Old Flame, Tommy.
Surely Ollie's a positive in WA. What? Surely Ollie's a positive.
Not a positive anywhere.
In WA,
He's
Pike
gone.
Rides winners there.
Gary gone.
My God.
Gone.
Who said someone the other day that Pike's the J-Mac of WA? I nearly died. I nearly crashed the car. I was like, that's enough. I'm done.
Smart man too, whoever said that, and I couldn't believe it myself.
It's like giving Davo a Nobel Peace Prize.
Lays of the week last week was Old Flame. So we got it beat with Tommy from the Wide Alley. I'm smelling a Godolphin lay this week.
Which one?
I don't know. I'm going to find one. Blue.
Which one? They just sold 80 of their horses online yesterday. Oh, God. What about the prices some of those horses went for? So where are they finding the money? And I was talking to a couple of trainers. They're like, we can't get new horses. We can't sell them. So we're buying these ones. We're like, because people like to buy the Godolphin ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No worries. Good luck.
TopSport Steam back in business. Nemeth, the Wagga Town plate form.
Brucey Mack calling it down the straight. That was the highlight of the Mitchy Beer's career. Good on him.
And poor old, what was the Freeman
What price was it?
Couldn't get a winner as well with King Hastings running second or something. I think it was 29 on the show, but there's plenty of deductions. So was it $14 or $15 or
like $13? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, TopSport Steam, they're finally back in business, and Zipping Classic with Nico. But I'll tell you what else is back in business is TopSport's new app and mobile site, complete reskin, smooth as silk, super fast, work beautiful. The only thing I was sick on, they've got this same race multi that I guess everyone's got it now. So they've got everything now. They've got all the bells and whistles TopSport. And I had nothing on Roy Deeney, Hope in Your Heart. That was the one same race multi that I thought, I'm not scared to have a bet and just pull the trigger, and I just forgot to bet it.
So hang on, you're blaming Tristan because he's now got same race multis that you didn't take.
And I forgot to take it. So if you
That's
like
Tristan's
that,
fault.
Yeah. If you like it, you can download the new app and give it a spin. It's really quick. So
awesome.
Have you guys seen the new app? You had a go? You had a bet?
Well, I don't bet.
Yeah.
I've given up.
Yeah, I've had a little crack at it. Yeah, I like it. Good new layout. Website's pretty good as well.
All right, let's talk about Sandown at Caulfield because that's what Melbourne Racing Club have done to us.
Last meeting for 6 months.
Oh, is that what you were talking about before?
Yeah, they've confused the bejesus out of everyone because you got Sandown that we raced on yesterday, then now they're going to go to Caulfield. So it's
the Sandown Cup at Caulfield.
Yeah.
The Zipping Sandown Cup, which is he was the Sandown specialist at Caulfield. I like it.
Doesn't make any sense. We might do a Black Friday sale. Everyone's doing Black Friday sales, so we're going to do a Black Friday sales. We'll whip
we
up
selling
a couple
DK? Who are we selling?
We'll sell everything in the shop. Black Friday, we'll just go do whatever we do.
A night at Gimlet with DK, a night in the DK.
I just don't know what it is, Black Friday. So I'm going to have to
den.
Google it. And on Friday, we'll get some sales. We never do sales, but we'll just put some sales through the shop tomorrow.
That's my goal, actually. I don't like selling anything. I just like to give everything away. So that's my goal.
So if you want Nico's or DK's or anyone's stuff, Black Friday sale. Nico's stuff in the yard, as I said, absolutely airborne. DK's got an absolute moral today at Bendigo. So, yeah, hopefully that wins because we're all on. Merson Cooper, race 1 at Caulfield on Saturday. We're finally getting our teeth stuck into the racing, and I'm completely not ready as per usual. But the favourites here is Godolphin. Caulfield race 1, the Merson Cooper Stakes. Good one to follow. This is always strong, and lots of winners come out of this race further down the track. So Remedies is a favourite, $3 Godolphin. Cylinder, second pick at $3.80. $8.50 Little Bros. Floodway, $9. Gangitano, well named horse there. Alphonse, $9.50. Hell, $14. That sums up DK at the moment. Hydrogen Power, $14. Heuristic, $17. That's a nerdy Don Burr name if I've ever heard one. Bonafide Star, $17. And Celluli is $21. Froggy Newitt, Brent Stanley. Nico Noonan, having a look at the replay of Cylinder in the Max Lees. It's the big baldy face horse. No, it's not. It's the big baldy face in behind them, just about to peel on the outside. Godolphin.
Yeah, this just wasn't a great setup for him this day. It was 900 metres, drew 11 of 11, sort of jumped nearly in front. J-Mac had a look across and the 10 underneath him were pretty much just quick out. So he thought, I'll go right back, sat last. Absolutely charges to the line here. Probably had his chance to win, but the way he sort of charged the line, I think getting out to 1,000 metres on Saturday will be a big positive for him. Ran the fastest last 200 of the meeting there on, what day was that? The Hunter, I'm pretty sure. So he started well in the market there. He drifted late, but his trials leading in were very strong. Gets a golden switch here, goes barrier number 11 to barrier number 1 and gets Blake Shin going aboard. I'm yet to see any horse be slow out of the barriers with Blake Shin aboard. Anything that sort of is not going forward in a race usually. He just gets them straight out of the gates.
That thing yesterday that Midtown Boss. So it was a little bit bit grubby out, but still found the box seat.
Yep.
And not getting it reefing and tearing. Like just got it to travel there.
Hang on. So if Blake finds it, it's the box seat. Anyone else finds it, it's the coffin. What's going on here? Is this a favouritism game?
Yeah, but worked out to be the box seat for him. And horrible for the people who are on the thing that was in the 1-1 and it was in the coffin and Blake got the split in the box seat. So it's sort of all what happens at the 400, Walt.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if this horse is last on Saturday. I think he'll be box seat. I doubt he'll lead Remedies, who's drawn barrier number 10, will have to come across. But if he jumps well, I doubt Shin's sort of handing up either. So I think he's the horse in the race with the most talent. I was very surprised he wasn't favourite. Remedies, the stablemate, did win at Cranbourne, sort of jumped to the front there and was, I think, very flattered by the way the race was run. She sort of got a very easy lead, and then on the corner, another horse in the race kind of took everything else out, and the horses that were coming at her got half taken out in the corner at Cranbourne. There's only 200 metres to the post, isn't there? So that were going to be very hard to run her down. So the winning margin of 3.5 lengths there is very flattering for her.
I love those sort of subtleties that you found there, and that's the thing you get by getting in depth a bit.
Yeah.
And then you see it goes up favourite next time, and you can punch the hole straight in it.
Yeah, she's just a squib. I think any horse with a bit of talent will run her down. Very surprised she's favourite. I would have her probably triple the price she is now. If Cylinder gets a crack at her, he will beat her. There's a few first starters there that have shown a bit of ability. Gangatano, maybe?
Gangatano.
Wow.
Nico, you're showing your age there.
Hang on.
What's Gangatano?
We'll get a story
he's a gangster. He's a gangster. He was a big gangster down here just before the bloody the Mockbell Wars and all that. But
was he in the tracksuit gang? Was he
Alphonse Gangatano, mate? He was a bad dude. But in the Mockbell series or whatever it was, he was played by Vince Colosimo.
He was the Black Prince of Lygon Street.
Well, clear before my time. All I know is the horse has a bit of ability. Trained by the Yargies. They don't have many 2-year-olds, but Ash Yargi worked under Team Friedman for a long time. And now this seems to be one of the first 2-year-olds they've got that might have a bit of ability. So they're a gun 2-year-old camp, and he's learnt sort of everything he knows off them.
Supported by, that's Dave as a party horse, I think, isn't it? That's a Dream Thoroughbred. So he was supporting that, but he's more as a staying trainer. Yagi loves training a stayer. And probably his wife does too, through the old Jim Houlihan stuff, that he was a great jumps trainer and whatever.
It's a good cross there, isn't it? She's got the sort of the staying cross, and he's got he'd know how to handle a 2-year-old. The sprinters and the grand final sort of training that the Freedmans do.
A few of them, like Hell won a trial I saw at St Arnaud. That's that Brent Stanley.
It's been 31s into 14s. I thought the Gangster should be the second pick of the market, and Cylinder, I'm happy betting up there at sort of 380. I think he should be clear favourite, and it will be very hard to beat.
The fly in the ointment, could it be Little Bros? It's got the Flemington. My only query with Cylinder, do you think he was out of carrots by the time he got to that leader?
It should be, though. It's very hard to
do what he did.
Back over 900 and make that sort of a run. Like they're sprinting hard. I think, what did he say? He ran second last fastest or whatever, so it's not as if he was stopping. It was just the other horse. Jay Ford was a little suck behind and had a little bit left.
The Little Bros race, a few of the horses really didn't handle the track in that race. He showed a little bit in his jump outs leading in, but barrier number 8, I think it'll be a big advantage to be on speed near the rail at Caulfield, given it's going to be firm. I don't think you want to be backing too many horses going to get back in the field, which is where it'll be. And I do have a big question mark on that race. Like the winner got flogged on debut and then come out and looked like bloody Farlap winning there. So I think Cylinder best horse in race. I think he's one of the best 2-year-olds we've seen so far. So I'll be happy betting up there.
Wow, very exciting. It's a very exciting card there at Caulfield. Let's have a look at the Zipping Classic. We're moving right along, so we're going to go to the opener. When Nico finds a horse in the opener, I say this all the time, usually lands on the money, so make sure you press into that one. Zipping Classic 2,400 without a fight. Bit of a flop in the Melbourne Cup, $3.50 favourite here, in from $3.90. Vow and Declare, $5. Luncey's $6 per San. $7, $9.50 Desert Icon Sound, going for what, 3 Zipping Classics, is it? $11.
3 in a row.
Kukaracha, $11. 15 Great House Dark Dream, 21 Chapada, 26, and that's the lot. Luncey's is a horse that you want to have a look at the replay here, and you've got Solcombe on in the Aussie colours here with the blinkers and the white nose, and then you've got DK's horse, Captain Envious, and Luncey's is there. It's the grey horse in the Rupert colours with the lightning bolt still whacking away there.
This is probably more a relevant lead up, given, without a fight running the cup, but he was falling out of the screen at the sort of the top of the straight. So, Luncey's beats Sound, Persan's here, Great House in behind him's here, and Santa Berto back in the field runs early in the card and can probably improve off that. I think that the key to the race is without a fight, for sure. Like, he's now with Team Friedman. He started $12 in the Melbourne Cup. We were I think you were sticking up for him, weren't you, DK, in the Cup from memory? But he has shown a lot of ability overseas. It's just, he came over here with good track form and ran on a soft 7 in the Cup. Maybe people say, that's why he didn't fire. I could see both ways. Of all the internationals I saw parade in the Cup, he was the one I liked I didn't like, to be honest. Didn't think he moved that well, and sort of the occasion got to him a lot. I think he might be better off sort of going out and having a spell. So if he's not over the top, that's probably his chance to win here, but I don't know. I sort of was happy enough to be against at this current stage without seeing them parade. He'd have to improve lengths in the yard for me to want to back him, which he could under Team Freeman. They're gun trainers, but I thought it was going to be a bit of a task for him. The problem is he's coming up against an opposition. Like Luncey's is a solid horse. Blake Shin gets aboard for the first time. We're finding B Shin all day pretty much there at Caulfield because he's absolutely flying. His last 50, he's going at 22%. Nearly everything. Every second horse he rides, he's thrown into a place, return on investment 86%, and his last 2 meetings he's rode in Victoria, so take out where he's gone to Hong Kong, everything he's rode's run in the top 4.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, so he's absolutely airborne, gets on for the first time. He's very consistent, Luncey's. You know what you're going to get with him. I thought he should probably be a bit shorter than $6. Sounds in the game. They just all seem a bit sort of chewed up, those horses at the top. I think he's probably got something left to offer, but without a doubt, without a fight, probably the best horse in the race. It's just whether he can actually acclimatise here to Australia and come up.
Just back while you're on B Shin, like what I've noticed, and he did it with that River Plate you backed last week. Like it's gone like a rocket, proper rocket. And because he's happy to, if he's on a thing he thinks is a good thing, he does the old Craig Williams things. I'll take it straight to the front and let it roll, and this is the fastest horse, this is the best horse, ride it like the best horse. And that horse flew when he did it like that. And he's done it before, so if you want to take short odds and he thinks he's on a good thing, he's taking it straight to the front. If he doesn't win, it's not good enough.
He's on a few today at Bendigo as well, so he's keeping the eye in, isn't he? He's not just sort of showing up on Saturday and thinking, this is my day. He's riding nearly most days of the week here down in Victoria. He's good. He's bloody good. He could get Luncey's home for sure. So I thought it was between without a fight and Luncey's, and I couldn't back without a fight given the run in the Cup.
No, they come back up out of the Melbourne Cup well, or they don't, those two. Like there's big queries on them, and then if it's not, it's left up to Luncey's.
Mark, I should tell the story. I thought Vow and Declare, the horse that you've been kicking up for, it did okay. I think it had a bit of interference or something working into the race.
He's got the good track and distance because he ran well in the Caulfield Cup too. So, and he gets his preferred firm footing.
Winkers on.
Yeah, so he can bounce back for sure. But, but just if whether they do bounce back, they'll be both big margin defeats in the Melbourne Cup. But you got to refer to track and distance a lot of the time.
B Shin off.
JL
on. Yeah, I thought he'd probably be a bit better suited in handicap, Vow and Declare, than sort of Weight for age. But Luncey's is probably the same, to be honest, given he's only a 96 rater. But
they all are, aren't they?
Luncey's just feels like the one that's not chewed up. Like he hasn't been to the Cup. He's racing well. You know, he ran a big race in the Turnbull where he got back and charged the line. I feel like it's his race to lose, and if without a fight shows up at his best, he'll probably win. But there's no way you could sort of definitively say he's going to be at his best.
If Solcombe was in this race, you'd be on, like I said, it's a proper. He got beaten by a proper horse the other day.
Solcombe was a be even, so
yeah. So that's good form, you know. So
I get scared when a horse that hasn't won for a long time races out of its sort of like a handicapper that's going to wait for age that hasn't won in a while is scary, but I guess it's that sort of late. But it's not, but it should still be getting weight off him, and it's not a horse that sticks its head out. So it's a weird race, isn't it? It's a really weird day, the rest of the card at Caulfield. I sort of thought the first race was like, I was really keen, and then the rest of the day, it's like horses coming out of Cup Week and sort of had their grand finals.
The top for me, because I enjoy watching the 2-3-year-old races in this meeting, the Twilight Glow and the Sandown Guineas.
Yeah.
A lot of the horses I see coming up through winning their maidens and then maybe having dipping their toes, and then they're sort of good 14, being at both 1,400 metres. I reckon they hold the most interest, you know, horses with plenty of upside in those races.
Yeah, the Twilight Glow was a great race, but it was really hard. There's plenty of winning chances there. So, I think sort of race one will be determine how my day goes, and then we'll sort of have to maybe reload after there if it doesn't go to plan. But it's a tricky meeting. There's a few horses there that do look a bit chewed up and sort of going around just because there's good prize money.
There's a real funny one in the Sandown Guineas. Big query over a horse, See You in Heaven. Looks like a flashy light run, but 1,600 metres, not sure. And then you got a horse like the Fortune Tellers there as well.
How about last start? We backed her at 20s, absolute moral beaten.
Yeah.
And now you got to cop up and, 3:30, and she's got to go up to a mile.
Scary.
And the other thing that isn't that Fortune Teller, isn't it a Panther or something, Nico? Isn't he one of the best types of walkers all your yard people have seen? Isn't it just magnificent?
He's a terrific horse, but like you said, like these Mar Eustace horses, I think he's one that's been up forever.
He won his maiden at Swan Hill back in end of August or something.
So he hasn't sort of...
And he's in his first prep.
Yeah, he was good last start hitting the line, but from 10, he's probably going to get back as well. So unless the pattern sort of changes throughout the day, I don't know if you want to be finding too many horses going to get back on this card. So could be tricky, very tricky.
Definitely, there's a few horses that have caught my eye, but until I see the first couple of races, I'm going to keep my powder dry and I'll be tuned into your Mounting Yard Mail. Let's quick shout out to puntingform.com. They're the data and sectional benchmark kings. Best stepping stone to take your betting to the next level. If you're, I guess, a weekend warrior punter and you want to dig deeper into form and become sort of a rusted-on form student, puntingform.com is the best database and the easiest database to sink your teeth into. So make sure you try that. Rosehill, I think the rail's in True this weekend. Johnny Walter, how do you think the track will play? Weather's fine, I think.
Depends whether they doctor it like they doctored the Hawkesbury track there last week. No, it's hard.
Come on, mate.
If it's real and it's firm, stave ground up the inside, get 3 or 4 off in the straight. If it's not, we sort of, at the moment, we sort of cross our fingers. But, you had Hawkesbury last week, hard fence, highway next week, outside fence, same track conditions, same penetrometer things, whatever you want. So New South Wales like to play tricks, but we'll set up for fair. Is that all right?
Okay.
On pace-ish to fair.
Race 4 is the first one I'm going to have a look at, 1,800 metres race. Yes, this is you. You are Sydney. Elite Turf Projects handicap. Floating's a favourite here. R King, J-Mac off, Rachel Schumacher King on. 310. Global Ausbred 440. Tony B 440. Worthily is $6. Mission Phoenix $7.50 in from 8. Syndicato must be getting dizzy, that one, $20. Caesar's Palace $21 and a similar price or better the rest. I know you're not going to tip Floating, and the replay we're going to have a look at here is Mission Phoenix. So Mark Noonan and Tyler Schiller out in front here with the yellow and red.
Just like what he does. Yeah, that's it. Blinkers on this day, second up only. First up sort of got out sprinted without the blinkers, came again through the line, form's been pretty good. Just like what he does here. So a bit of a bunch here, but he actually shows a bit of acceleration and busts them up a little bit late. And I think getting to 1,800 metres, he's going to be the forgotten horse here, just like that he's definitely not stopping. Horse that I think he was second fastest last 200 of the day or something. I'm not a big sectionals man as a rule, but a horse, he was like, he ran it fast early, sat up through the middle and then was strong again late. The stable absolutely flying. As I said, sort of getting to 1,800 firm track around Rosehill, it's not going to be a bad thing. I think Bowman off, Jay Ford on, Global Ausbred probably sits outside leader and sits a length or two off him and doesn't pressure him. It's not Jay Ford's thing. Global Osbridge shown that he's not a big out sprinting horses. He's a bit of a whacker. As we said there, J Mac off, Rachel Schumacher on floating, and Bowman, as you said, Bowman off, Global Osbridge, Jay Ford on. That's the sort of second and third picks, and then Tony B will hopefully be last the inside. It's probably the horse that I'd be saving on, just because it's just got a heck of a lot of upside. Certainly beat first up, then really weird sort of break between runs up in distance last time and smashed them up down the middle at Rosehill, which is not easy to do. I would expect that, third up 1,800, that horse should be absolutely peaking. I think it's definitely the danger to Mission Phoenix, but sort of $758 Mission Phoenix up the front, staying out of trouble at Rosehill is very rarely a bad thing. And Tyler Schiller, I'll mock him into a bad performance here, but he's the one apprentice that actually look like he's
setting the world on fire, isn't he?
Well, he's riding horses back well. He's showing patience. That horse, was it Rondini or Riadini? No, the other one, was it Rondino? That ride was incredible. It was actually a good patient ride. He's showing that he's actually gone to another level where a few of them are stalled. So good luck to Tyler up in front, 1.5 kilos off.
We might clip that up. First time Walt said something positive about a jockey in 6 months.
Oh, no. Yeah, a few, but no.
Definitely like the way you're thinking here. I thought Tony B was a danger, and I was happy to pen a couple of the rest on similar lines of thought. So
yeah, it's
both right or wrong.
It's a tricky cut meeting, and you've kind of got to take a couple of lines. As you said, the same with the boys. There's a lot of carved up horses. There's horses sort of bouncing here and there, and this race at least looks like I just can't believe that Floating can keep going up and up deeper into its prep. Rider change won't help, and this horse looks like he's just finding his groove, which is what you want to do, same as Tony B.
It's a tricky one. The ATC Cup looks like a good race there. You got Steely versus Long Villiers, so you got the Nugget form versus what's the other big race, the Five Diamonds form. So that'll be interesting to see how they play up. But I think the first,
it's got to run 2,000 as well, Steely, and he's a bit of a needs to prove himself horse, and Jay doesn't normally. Gate 1 helps it. It'll just plonk in a spot, but he's not one that normally helps horses sort of lift out of their funk. So I'd be trying to find something to beat it.
I thought it was crazy that I saw the early move. I think it was 7 into 360 or something like that. I just thought that was just crazy.
Steely?
Yeah, I thought, Jesus, they've just hammered it in so short.
It must have some crazy ratings or something in its past, because it's very well backed often.
Too short. I guess the 7-day backups are.
I think he's a mad fresh horse, personally.
The next race we're going to have a look at is the Festival Stakes, though, race number 8. And Mirror Vision's come up favourite here, $4.60. Kiss $6. Sunshine Rising, $6.50. First start, Hong Kong horse. Cold Crusher led all the way last start, $7. Skyman, $9.50. Cisco Bay, $12. Kerwin's Lane, $14. Lock Eagle, $15. Darjeran, second up at $17, and then you got $20. Jojo Was a Man, and much better the rest. So we're going to have a quick look at Mirror Vision, and this is in the 1600 race. So you got Ice Bath ends up winning this one back along the fence. Feels like, geez, talk about a long time ago. I think it's
only Derby Day.
It does feel like a long time ago, doesn't it?
Feels like a
4 weeks
bets
exactly.
ago. Mirror Vision's coming on the outside.
Chiming in the middle.
The blue and
Ice
red.
Bar suck up the fence. Oh, is that a tissue bursting through there at 50s to go around 6-4 in the same race next start and crush our souls? Yes, that's the race. This is similar. Where you're trying to find whether that horse is a little bit beaten up or not. If not, it should just cruise across with the only leader in Cold Crusher from the outside draw. JP's riding these sorts of horses really well at the moment. I don't like to bracket him with Blake Shin, but he does remind me of him when he's in this sort of form. He just rides them pretty cocky, which is, I think, what the boys are trying to say about Shin. When he's got his tail up, he's a different level, and that's sort of what JP mode goes into. I think he'll just cruise across with Cold Crusher, and I think he's just better than Cold Crusher. And then you got to go looking for sort of closers behind. I thought Skyman was interesting. They put the blinkers on last time. I don't think it really worked out. The whole race didn't really work out the way the track was racing didn't work out. This is him down the outside, one from the outside.
Baldy face.
We've got Skylab sort of coming off his back, who came out and ran well in one of those $73 million races last week. Was it the Bong or the Gong or the whatever, the Thong? Just pen this run, treat it as a bit of a barrier trial. He finds another race that looks diabolical on paper, but you've got McDonald to try and find a position on him. If he's somehow sort of tracked Mirror Vision across, or Kerwin's Lane got their back, I just think he's the classy danger. Yeah, I think he'll be strong with the blinkers off, and I just think if you're going to play in the race, it's probably not a bad 2-horse play. It's no exciting odds, unfortunately, but just by default, most of these horses are either beaten up or class risks for mine. So I just thought they were the two that were left standing on paper. Obviously, the other horse that's interesting is Kiss Some, but what do you do off that rain? Like, what was Nash doing? Like, he just stayed on the inside in that. Was it the Alligator Blood Champions Mile? Like, what? It got beat 150 metres, but it should never have been in the race, and Nash just sort of looked like he gave up. I don't know what the hell. So how do you treat it? If it drew a gate, I'd treat it much more seriously, but I think the market's found it pretty aggressively, considering it looks like it could be last, potentially in the run. So for me, it's a bit of a by default race. It is a tough meeting. I do bitch and moan about some of the meetings in Sydney, but these big full fields are not easy this time of year, where you've trying to piece horses together and new horses on the scene. And
the crazy thing is, you got a horse like Sunshine Rising, which is a 9-year-old, first up, 60 kilos, ex-Hong Kong, $9 into $6.50.
I think I heard him yesterday say it started in Ireland, then went to England, then went to Singapore, then went to Hong Kong, then went to there, then it was in a paddock and they declared it gone. Now he's somehow got it, and was it not run since January a year and a half ago, and it's a 9-year-old, and like, if you don't take that horse on, even how the Noonan stable's going, geez, if it wins, that's not a good sign. Or he's a freak, one of the two, Mark Noonan.
Yeah, he's just going to be in the wrong spot, Skyman, but it looks like a horse definitely ready to roll. Mirror Vision, if they can push forward enough from the wide alleys. That
stable's flying too. It's more about that for me this time of year. When stables sort of check out this time of year, I try not to find their horses too much, but Snowden's seem to be picking up, Noonan's picking up. They're the sort of stables I want to find. Wallers just go around and around and around and around, and you've just got to try and work them out. So,
well, that's the thing with this time of year, isn't it? Like, you can get stables that just fire up this time of year, like the off season, like the spring's over, and they go, right, this is our time. We just put our horses in the right races and we'll win a few. And it really is. This is probably the last week before it's proper off season. I know in Victoria we've got Pakenham next week, but then the week after is proper off season racing. So it can be a tough time of the year to sort of keep betting up and thinking, this horse is going to hold its form for the spring, even if it's 5th, 6th up, and then, something that's fresh and been targeted at these races, even though they're first up, they're rock hard, fit, ready to go, because they know there's a bit of prize money there, and they've waited all spring, haven't they, a few of the camps? I remember Allerton Zara were like that all the time in the summer.
A little bit different this year because of the rain and everything. That a lot of horses' preparations have probably been pushed back a little bit because they have been able to get...
Probably makes it even harder.
Yeah. So, that's right. So things might be turning up a month later than they should have been, and preps have been pushed back. I've heard a lot of trainers talking about that. So it'll be an interesting time leading up to Christmas.
And we're like days away from horses popping up for Magic Millions preparations.
That's it.
Uncle Bjorn always starts to fire coming into Magic Million sales time. They're the sort of stables. It is a weird. It's not something I really love when people sort of talk about stables in form means all their horses are going to run well, but there's no doubt that certain stables do try and target times a year to get, which is smart. Like the small, like you say, I don't know if Bjorn does it, but he seems to fire up around Magic Millions time, and it can't hurt the sales. Selling the new yearlings if your stable's firing.
I tend to agree. I don't really follow stables or anything like that. It's something my old man does and goes around in circles. But guys like Peter Moody always seem to go better in summer. But he has horses that are up on speed and
that's right. Exactly. But they do target this time of year, which is the main part. Try to have their horses ready to go, where some stables are just checked out. You know what I mean? Like, same with jockeys. That's why it's hard adding more and more races to calendars and more carnivals to calendars. They need time off. You can't expect them to be up mentally all year round.
Some jockeys don't even check in. They've
checked out about 5 years ago. No one's noticed. That's right.
Gone surfing.
Well, if you can earn $300 or $400 a year and not have to go near another runner, it's not a bad play, is it?
We're nasty.
8,000 a week for being on a merry-go-round. It's pretty good.
I was talking about Zara. We were talking about jockeys checking in, checking out. Well, he's got the blend right. So, he has about 5 months off a year. He goes surfing, doesn't have to stress out in his weight. And then when he's on for carnival times, and he's on. So, and then he's off. He'll ride the next couple of weeks, and then he'll back off again and come in for the autumn. Then he'll back off and go to Bali or go surfing. Then he tunes in for the spring carnival. And I know he's top class, but he's sort of got the balance right, so he's always on.
He's a loose unit, isn't he? Like you see him, he's like today he's at the Super Bowl. Tomorrow he's riding at Flemington, and he like DK says, he gets it right. Not many people you could trust to keep a level balance, and he somehow he's worked it out. He's mad, but he plays to it.
He's enjoying life, and you're allowed to.
Are you?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go for it. I love that stuff.
Me too.
If that keeps you fresh,
if you can do it,
and get
absolutely.
the results, grouse.
That's coming from the Hong Kong too, though. I remember
Learning.
Don't they all? Don't they come back there much improved at getting them out of the gates? Which is an advantage in our racing where we really slam the brakes on mid-race. So I remember when D Lane came back and other jockeys who've come back from Hong Kong really, really fine-tuned their art of getting them out of the gates. Because that's what you've got to do over
I
there.
wonder if that's where Timmy got it from. It's weird, isn't it? Because Timmy's the same. Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe Hong Kong is a huge. It's because if you miss the kick around that Happy Valley, it's game over, isn't it? Like if you're not in a spot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Never heard that. Never heard anyone say that before. It's interesting.
Hugh Bowman might come back and push a bit more forward.
Mate, if you can wake Bowman up, you couldn't wake Bowman up, bloody making him dodge traffic like Frogger on a highway. He just takes it all in his stride, Bowman.
Racingwatch.com.au for more of Johnny's stuff. Telegram group if you don't want the head noise, and if you're an absolute feral, jump into his Discord channel, and you'll be well at home with the rest of the rat bags in there. So make sure you head to racingwatch.com.au and sign up. Pretty good. You can do a Black Friday special? No.
It's special all year round. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's discounted 52 weeks of the year. Oh, Ascot. I think I've learnt to stay in my lane. I swung for the new boat, the house, the car, everything, and the more I watch of Ascot, the more that I don't know, it sort of just scares me a bit. Some of the jockey tactics, the form reversals, horses just fall off the cliff. It's like dodgem cars out there. So T-Dogs, you're with us. You didn't bother flopping out of bed with Nico and come in the studio, but how have you found the Ascot Carnival to date?
Yeah, not too well, Scooty. We've had a bit of a rough 2 weeks to start the carnival in terms of my tipping and punting. But I thought the stories out of last week's features were good. The WA Guineas probably just found the wrong horse in Linden Lady, didn't back up. Amelia's Jewel was outstanding. And the Railway, I think, sort of the same thing. We backed a horse who just didn't run to his best, Alaskan God, like it had the measure of Tricks of the Trade. Nearly every start they'd met and was taking ground off him first up. And then, I don't know what sort of happened with him there last week. He travelled into it fine and then didn't really find anything. Tricks of the Trade went on to win it, which was a good story. The connections are in their 90s. They'd never had a Group 1 winner and the trainer in his 80s. So people that have been around in the game for a long time, good to see them get a result.
He just probably wants another lap, Alaskan Guide, already looking for 2,000 metres and maybe beyond. I think Walt joked that Ed Cummings had taken over train the horse.
Yeah, well, it looked like Montefilia or bloody Duay second up, like that mad flat run. Like he tried to, they pumped the work into him or something. It's really weird because I had watched the race pretty closely, and in the run you would have been on good terms with yourself. You're on Alaskan God. He was like tracking up. It was going to be game over, and then Tricks of the Trade put the afterburners on. And he went in reverse. It was pretty inexplicable.
Oh, I'll explain it. I had Yankees and everything into it through Roy Deeney, and I just stopped the bugger.
You went the full super multi into it.
I did.
You did.
I would have got half a boat if that had a one.
Half a boat? Yeah, half a boat. Jesus Christ.
Super Multi-Man's just hit another winner during the week, so he's got my measure.
Amelia's Jewel was like the reverse of it. It was like car wreck. Oh, my God, it was the best ride I've ever seen. It was... and exploded. It was strange racing over there last week.
It's either a masterpiece and beautiful racing in Perth, or it's just complete car crash dodgem cars. It's
mate, it was like the Inter Dominion or something, that the Amelia's Jewel race. It was like there's the leader coming around. Here comes another one. It was.
Do you watch it, DK, or are you on to third bottle of red by that stage? It's a sight to behold, I reckon. Perth racing.
I did it maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was just up in the air what I was going to do, and I thought, I'll have a go at Perth, all these dry tracks, and not many tracks, and so I did the video comments and started having a few bets, and you're right, Scoot, it was nuts. And then I sort of ventured up to Geraldton and had a good thing there one day and was a favourite, and if it wasn't OFF, I'll give up, and so I thought, that'll do me. That was a fleeting go at it, so came back to what I know best, but mate, she's fun and games over there.
Let's have a look at the Lee-Steere Classic. Ernest, Sir Ernest. And Saint Torino is the favourite here, $2.60. All the Kingsmen $3.70. Vampy at play $6. Man Crush $7. Swear to God $14. China Spirit $21, and you can get much better the rest. T-Dogs, you found the horses on out of the WA Guineas off a bit of a freshen up, 1,600 dropping back to 1,400, which is interesting, but they dominate the top of the market here. And we'll put the replay up on the screen now and tell us why you like this form line.
Yeah, well, it wasn't necessarily that I liked it. I just think it's the race with the most relevance here on the quick backup. So you got St. Aureo about to hit the front now with all the Kingsmen, and they get chased down by Bustler and Amelia's Jewel, the top 2 3-year-olds in Perth. They ran this WA Guineas quite strange. They sort of, the first 400 metres went out in a reasonable tempo, and then they just absolutely jammed the brakes on, which I don't think suited all the Kingsmen. He sort of got left in front a little bit from home, and a horse that's sort of I wouldn't say he's a horse with a dynamic turn of foot. He can sort of just hold a run for a long period of time. I don't think that race shape suited him. St. Aureo, probably the way the race worked out, the wide barrier wasn't that much of a disadvantage because they put the brakes on and then suddenly he had full momentum. So I thought all the Kingsmen out of that performance, he had the shorter SP, was very good at the 1,400 at the start before when only narrowly nosed out by Bustler. I thought he'd turn the tables on St. Aureo on Saturday. But I think it's an interesting sort of race to have a look at the Lee-Steere, because as you pointed out, the 3 main chances in the betting are sort of coming out of grand finals. So you got Vampy players coming out of the champion fillies and was disappointing. And then there's sort of, Man Crush, who I think won't run 1,400 metres, sort of failed to run in the Faritha. And then you got double figures the rest. So it's a race from a betting point of view that kind of interests me. And the 2 horses that interest me the most are China Spirit and Diamond Command. Diamond Command's $26, comes out of a race behind My Ballamay, who took out the Placid Arc, up to 1,400, Big Tick, Chris Parnham, inside draw. And then Paddy Carberry, barrier 1, China Spirit's going to need some luck, but found the line strongly on debut. They're the 2 horses for me against Sonorio, who looks extremely well found at 270, given he had a really good run last week. If I had to back one of the favourites, it'd be all the Kingsmen. I think he should be a lot closer to Sonorio at $4, but I think this is a race where you can potentially try and get a few of these more high-profile names over there in Perth beaten by a couple up-and-comers. And I think Diamond Command for me at $26 will do me. I just think it's a good price about a horse that comes out of a hot, strong rating race last time.
It's an interesting one now. Sorry, I made a slight error. Of course, these horses are on the 7-day backup, and that's the query that I've got over these ones. On TopSport's website, it says 21 days, and the Guineas was last week on the 19th, so a little bit of an error on TopSport's website, so I'm not sure where they're pulling their form guide from. But as I look at the punting form data, even Madame Magic with Clint Johnson-Porter, it's sort of got some decent sort of splits and ratings on its first 2 starts. So I'd be definitely trying to fish around and go dig a bit deeper into this one. And even Man Crush sort of appeals to me more so than taking the shorts about this horse. There's another one. Let's talk about the Winterbottom, because I guess it ties in. I'm a little bit wary about a horse like Volana dropping back in distance, and that's what those horses in the Lee-Steere Classic have to do on sort of a quick 7-day or 14-day backup, and then have to come back in distance. Let's have a look at the market in the Winterbottom. And you've got the favourite here is Rothfire, $5, D. Oliver on, and then Volana got J. Carr, barrier 12 is interesting, $5.50, Elite Street $6.50, Polelli is $11, Miss Kentucky $11, This Will Test You $11, the Astrologist $12, and then horses like Red Care Man outside the market there at $21, Kiss on All Four Cheeks, probably off of Freshen there, $21, Snipperucci last start winning $26, and Bo Ross at $31, and that probably rounds out the chances. So pretty wide open as the betting suggests, for sort of 4-1 the favourite there and better. But let's have a look at a couple of the replays. We've already seen the replay of Volana. To my eye, I'm surprised Volana's coming back in trip the way it finished off the other day. Nash was a great run, but these other horses here, you got This'll Test You, wins the race out wide, and then you got Red Care Man peeling to the front. And then Elite Street's well back in the purple with the white V. What do you think here, T-Dogs?
Yeah, I thought this race rated really well. So I think if they run to this level again, this would have produced 4 of the 5 last Winterbottom winners. Like, would have eclipsed that rating, is what I should say, on punting form. And Little Testure's in career best form. She maps really well. I think she's a little bit of the forgotten horse in the race. Mitch Pateman's, since taking over the training of her last year, has really turned her into a consistent racehorse. She always had early on in her career this sort of like Learjet number that everyone was just like, this is a Group 1 horse. And, she sort of went through a period where she was unbeaten, and then she's got apparently a lot of behavioural issues and sort of went off the boil for a little bit. But she's put down 2 figures in Perth within the last 12 months that are good enough to win you a railway. I would go as far as to say she's actually the best sprinter in Perth, and Elite Street's just the most consistent. So Elite Street, sort of performs more often than not. He's winning the races, but if you're looking at peaks, Little Testure has the 2 peaks in WA over the last 12 months, and I think Elite Street will definitely improve on that performance. There was a lot of commentary that he was a bit fat in the mounting yard. There's a bit of thought that he's getting aimed at this end, the gold rush, and wasn't as forward as what he can be first up. He had a real, something I sort of look at a lot, is horses that between the 4 and the 200 really let rip, and then that 200 of the post, they just find not much. I think he dropped his speed by nearly 3 lengths, just a sign of a horse that's just not fit. I think he'll bounce back. But I think the WA form relative to the market is a little bit sort of underplayed here. I think they've got a good chance, the locals. I know the Winterbottom, necessarily is always won by the Eastern State horses, because, we come over here with some reasonable sprinters. But looking at the map, I thought Little Tester at $11 definitely interests me, because she's going to get a really good run. Like, this is going to be a run at a pretty good speed. You got Massimo and Indian Pacific who want to try and find the front from Snipperucci. Red Can Man, he's going to punch forward. Rothfire, you can't imagine it's going to be too far away, neither the Astrologist, and then she's just going to get the sit on all those horses. So, I sort of thought she's the map horse. Speaking on Valana, I'm a little bit with you, Scoot. I'm finding it hard to sort of see where he fits in this race at 1,200 metres. The only horse he sort of met in the field on race day is Rothfire, who held him comfortably in the Stradbroke. Valana did cover ground that day, and he's probably an improved horse since then. But he comes off the 2-week backup. I'm not sure about the Hunter. I'm not sure about it as a race. I think he beat an In the Congo who's maybe not going that well. Gravina finished 3rd, and Gravina was well held by the Astrologist and Bo Rosser at Flemington the start prior. I'm not sure what you make of that form, Walt.
Perfect run that day, like absolutely perfect, and Nash at his absolute best too. And I think you sort of give it a buy the start before. It's the sort of horse that needs that run for me to be dangerous here. And so you got Nash off, Jamie King on, wide draw.
I think she had. This horse nearly has to
Where's
lead
it going to
or
go?
sit first 2 pairs.
Well, if it goes back, it's got
win.
none. Because it's going to be dour, I think. It'll get out sprinted if it doesn't go forward. So maybe if it sort of carted across with Massimo, Indian Pacific, and lob behind him, you could look silly by like completely opposing it. But if it doesn't get that absolute dream run across, I think it's in a lot of trouble. Just because, I think it'll be a little bit too one-paced, and I don't think Jamie Carr's going to get the same out of it that Nash is in a finish either. So I'd be happy to take it on at the price, like you're saying.
Let's have a look at the replay of the Astrologist and Bo Rosser. So this is an interesting one, because the Astrologist has since run in behind Rock and Horse, but Bo Rosser's the horse in the green and the blue stripes, just in behind them, and then the Astrologist just absolutely grows a leg up the straight, and Argentia wins this race down in the white along the fence, the chestnut mare there. So this is a really interesting one, because guess who jumps onto the Astrologist is W. Pike, who this horse has got barrier 2. So it actually has to kick up and sort of put itself on pace, and that's just not really Willie's go. Like, this is very weird. This whole race is so weird. And you got Melamon Palele at barrier 16. You got Brad on Elite Street. They didn't even really put it in the race last night. I thought Elite Street was a complete buy, and now it's got barrier 7. So he has to push the button go time, you would have thought, on Elite Street, and he absolutely trucked last start all through the race. But Yeah, it was just too far back and too far out of
That
his
second level Eastern form just looks very plain. So I like where Trav's going to a certain degree. I think like Rothfire's a good horse. There's absolutely no doubt about that. The rest of them, like they're just horses, Paul Lely included. Yeah, I like where you're going.
I think Palele is a bit of a Goldilocks horse. He needs really things to go his way in terms of the tempo of the races. He needs it, sort of not too fast, not too slow. I don't think he sort of gets that in a Winterbottom. He draws 16, seems a bit of an afterthought, like he was chasing Manicato, was chasing the VRC Sprint. Now he comes to Perth. He's a horse for me that they're just chasing a Group 1 with him, and this is obviously a weakish Group 1. But I want to put the pen through him hard. Rothfire, I'm not certain he's, sort of with us for the rest of the prep. I thought the run he had at Flemington, I thought he was, entitled to do a little bit more. I know he's finished alongside Rock and Horse and Nature Strip, but Nature Strip was well below his best. You take him out of the race and like it rated like a proper Group 2 feature. So I don't think these Perth horses, necessarily with those horses coming off the Sprints Classic, have to be that scared. I don't think they're coming over Rothfire and, Palele, even the astrologist at absolute, the peak of their powers. Maybe the astrologist probably is, and he'll suit Perth racing, that sort of faster speed. He's a horse that really runs well for fast tempo. But I just wanted to highlight that replay because Bo Rosser has gone to the line with him, the astrologist has performed well with Rothfire. The astrologist is now $11. Rothfire's, sort of $5 here, and Bo Ross is 30-1, and he's had a trial in Perth, and I think he's been set for the race. So I actually think he's the best of the Eastern State chances. I know that sounds really crazy, but I think he maps perfect for this race. I think you want to be trying to find something that's sort of midfield and can come into the race late. Todd Panel, I like him on this sort of style of horse. Hasn't won a Group 1. Todd, he'd be hungry to try and get one. And I just think this horse sets up incredibly well. Now, he's been in the wilderness for the good part of 12 months, but if he gets back to his best form where he's, sort of beaten Behemoth and got the race sort of turned off on protest and ran second in the Memsey, in high pressure 1400 meter races, he's going to suit 1200. And I think, sort of 1 by 3, he's the play in the race, Bo Rosser, because if their last starts, you could easily say that Bo Rosser was a better run than the astrologist at Flemington. And one's $11, one's $34, and one's possibly an afterthought. One's been targeted at the race. So I'm very interested in him here. I just think he's lethal, and I think he'll do something. Yeah, I can't really get around any of the Eastern State horses. As I said, I just think Palele's too short, given the map and given the probably high pressure. Valana, the map scares me. I'm sort of with Walt. I can't see him finding that first 4 position. And I don't love that Nash, sort of leaves the horse for Jamie. I don't know if he's a J-car horse. And, Rothfire, deep into the prep, wouldn't be shocked at all if Rothfire won it, but he's not a horse that I'm going to get excited about taking $5 off a run where I thought he was a bit below his best.
Nico would probably have a good line on a couple of these Eastern State horses. Is there anything that jumps off the page with you, Nico? Any of these horses that have got something left in the tank or any sort of yardage? Because I'm a similar thought pattern to T-Dogs. If I had to have a bet in this race, which I don't like the look of, I'd be probably Red Can Man 20s, Kiss on all 4 cheeks at 20s, and then Bo Rosser. Like I'd have peanuts on all three of those races and put the rest of the race into the bin. I thought Elite Street should be favourite, but can you steer us into this?
Yeah, I thought Bo Rosser had a lot of improvement to come first up. So given that, I think, like Trav said, they're probably setting him for one race, and it did seem that way at Flemington. He moved really well for a horse who sort of obviously was a bit in the wilderness there. So I think that's probably a key thing with him. The way I sort of looked at the race, Elite Street's probably near the best of the Perth sprinters, and there was a bit of commentary to say that he probably wasn't there first up. I thought his run was okay. Volana could be the best horse in the race. Like, he's just really come into his own this preparation, and that could mean a lot here, given, Elite Street's old. Rothfire, I don't know if you want to be backing horses. DK, you could probably attest to this a little bit, but, his last 2 runs, his last 200 metres, in the Manicato, he was the slowest home, even though he ran second. Then last start, there's 14 runners in the field. He's the 12th fastest, last 200, the 11th fastest for the 2. Like, he's got no acceleration.
He's on empty, and on empty.
First up, first up over 1,000 metres at Moonee Valley, runs the second fastest last 200 of the meeting. Last start, he's 50th fastest last 200. Like, there's just nothing left in the tank. Maybe Rob Heathcote is a freak trainer, and maybe he's found something there. But
and he's over there for the 2 runs too. He's going to the 1400, whatever that 1400 is in 2 weeks' time.
It just seems like he's got no killer punch. Like, he just hits that sort of cruising speed, and he's got nothing left to give.
Yeah, it makes him vulnerable to something rounding
makes him vulnerable to a horse like Valana. He's got,
you can find the run past it.
I thought Red Ken Man might be the one that's over. You can tie him in through. He beat the Astrologist last time. He met him down the straight at Flemington. Can tie him in through all the Perth form. He doesn't get a great map, but he's a dry tracker. $21 might be overs.
Yeah, I think you can make a good line between sort of Bo Rosser and Red Cam Man at their absolute best. Sort of going back last year, and Bo Rosser handled him. So I thought Red Cam Man personally had a really good run last start, was entitled to win the race, and this will test you. Sort of went past him. I'm pretty confident that this will test you will run top 3. I think she's the bet of the race at $11. I think she's the best of the Perth horses and comes into the race completely underrated. Could see the support for Elite Street, but I think he's about his right price. And as I said, I'll be having something 1x3 Bo Rosser.
I'm a happy man because we're all just going to lay the boots into Rothfire, and poor old Damien Oliver. Probably won't be his fault this time. The horse has just probably had enough. So it'll be egg on face. Maybe we can put Rothfire as the... all right, that's what I'll do. The bet doctor beat the doctor will be top odds Rothfire to finish top 2. So there it is. We'll give Godolphin the week off, and I'll put Uncle Robbie Heathcote and D. Oliver in the gun. It'll make for good theatre on next week's show if they overturn all of us, because it seems like unanimously we're going to lay it. Thanks, T-Dogs. I think you're on the money with finding that roughie. Do not let Bo Rosser go at all at 30-1. This that strong 1,400-metre form will hold him in good stead, and as Nico said, had plenty to give from the yard. So beautiful stuff, and a big thanks to you for previewing Ascot. But Donny's best graphed on last week, $3.30 absolute moral on a Friday. That's the best thing about Friday punting. Builds a bank for the weekend, and he's singing them quite well. Driver Deal was in his winner's sack recently too, but let's hear from the man himself, Anthony Don.
G'day, gents. Donny's back again with this weekend's best bets. It was great to have the fill up last week down at Grafton with the moral saluting. Let's keep the momentum rolling. This week, I've got 2 best bets. The first one comes up at the Gold Coast. It's in race 4, number 8, Pockets Full. It was really good last start at the Sunny Coast. It ran a really strong figure against a good horse called Antino. It pissed in yesterday at Dooman, so the form is franked. It'll roll forward, probably gets the 1-1 off a slow tempo, get to the middle of the track and go bang. $3.50 with TopSport's fair enough, and I've already backed it, so we'll be giving that one a massive cheer. The next best, we go to Canterbury on Friday Night Racing. Race 3, number 6, Betsy's Flag. It's had 2 trials for Mark Noonan. They've both been sensational. The last one, they snicked it back. They tried to grab hold of it. It still ran some of the best sectionals down the outside late and won the trial. I think it's a really smart horse. It looks to get the box seat. Josh Parron just has to get it out to win. There's only one danger, and that's number 1, Jewelry. So main bet will be Betsy's Flag. We'll have something tiny on Jewelry just in case. So the 2 best bets for this weekend are race 4 at Gold Coast, number 8, Pockets Full, in Canterbury on Friday night. Race 3, number 6, Betsy's Flag. Good luck, boys.
There we have it. So Donny's best. So Canterbury on Friday night. That's your neck of the woods. He's probably knocked your price off before you can get to it.
There's 2 things I like in that race. Zach Lloyd's on the danger, and JP's on the horse that looks extremely talented. Yeah, I think it'll short. I'd be surprised if it didn't start favourite.
Oh, well, Donny bets and then they go off. That's generally what happens.
Yeah, but that's weird. Like, for him to bet in an area where people live, normally he likes to go, population 500 and under.
He's good. He'll go anywhere for a winner. Very versatile, our man, Don. So that's Gold Coast race 4-8, Pockets Full. That was a really good run last start at the Sunny Coast for that. And then Betsy's Flag Friday night, Canterbury. Beautiful. TopSport team. Let's go, go, go. Nemeth last week. So you guys have got cash if you're following this. My old man texts me every time, oh, did you back the TopSport team this week? And I go, no, I didn't. And he loves following these. So Caulfield race 6, number 12, Flash Feeling. And I promise you, this is not mine. People say, oh, it's always your bets. No, 1,000 at $10, Flash Feeling, race 6 number.
Fair size bet early.
Yeah, well, I like it. Now we're talking.
Was Emma Cartwright riding it?
Yeah, Matty's on. It's his horse, so looks suited getting the 1,800. That's a weird race because Keats and Cranslam, they're both one-dimensional leaders and they'll probably take each other on, so it does set up for something to probably sit off them. I would have thought.
Some funny prices. I've clearly missed the price. Milford, but 60s was a big price. Milford, Princess Rainey's, I think one of you boys mentioned that horse, $16 as in that one. And French Emperor looks a danger in that one as well at $7. That's a tough race. That's a very, very tricky race. So,
yep, theme of the day, Caulfield.
Yeah, not sure I'd love that bet, but might be winning. Gold Coast Race 4, number 6. This is against Donny's best. Is Chase and Artie, $600 at $11 there. So that's an interesting bet. Haven't really done much form there. And then race 5, number 7, Literary Magnate, $2,000 at $3.30 here. This is an interesting one because all the money has been for Norwegian Bliss down from Sydney, and I don't know what price they bet completely Norwegian Bliss, but I think it's halving quote perhaps. Or
$6 or something. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
they bet $6 all in, which is a bit different to Final Field. They sort of went up $3.20, I think, and now she's into
$2.50,
$3 around that mark.
$2.25.
Top sport. I don't know. Walt might know a bit more about her than me.
That's poison. That odds. I would say it's poisonous.
She's unbeaten, but she's got no figures and she's beat nothing. Norwegian Bliss.
It was Horse. Horse was charging in the all in market. Horse.
Literary Magnate's a top sport steamer, so someone's had $2,000 on that at $3.
It's just tough as hell. Like it's just strong, but I think it's bled as well. So it obviously pushes the boundary. I think it was first up from a bleed last watch. I liked it last start because I assumed he'd have it, well and truly revved. Didn't want to risk it, but
and that's the old pearl there. First up off a bleed.
Especially those sorts of horses that need to be hard fit. Not one that's going to flop out the back and just do whatever. But I get the feeling they're trying to rush black type into it in case it goes again. You know what I mean? And it's so I'm assuming that's what they've done, rushed it down there. But just a hard horse to take on because it just knows how to win. It's one of those like it
does just win. Yeah, it's never been beaten.
And it puts itself on speed and just it's hard and tough. So yeah, I don't know. It's very short. I couldn't back it. But
they just make it up. They just make up the prices, do they? Those are win.
Well, there's nothing in the race. Like literally,
how's was the $6? It's just this
6-second pick.
I don't know that there's nothing in the race. Like even a horse like Pol, like there's going to be some tough horses to run past here. Like I thought Poland its last 2 starts. Now that they're riding it forward, like that, have they worked this horse out, Poland? Now all of a sudden it started to go straight to the front, and it's taken pretty good efforts from Aegon and Old Flame to run it down in the last 2 starts. I thought Froggy sticking to this horse, and I can't understand why this horse is $2.50 Norwegian Bliss.
Just a winner. Like you look at
considering it was what was it $3 plus last start against Camels. That's but it's
you look at the rest of the horses in the race. So Fierce 6, Duck Egg 2nd. The Swords Dawn's a 3,200 meter horse, and Literary Magnate's. She's handy, but this is probably the max she's been to so far. Like she hasn't been to this level yet. Taking on the boys, she's coming out of mares races. So there's nothing else in the race. They probably put it up as short as they think they can go, and see if anyone backs it. The corporates, and then they go from there, wouldn't they?
Draw looks all right too, doesn't it? Because the inside will kick up, and then Poland will come across. It'll probably sit right behind them. Yeah, it's a hard horse to take on, but I'm not taking 6-4.
Well, we've already laid Rothfire, so that would be the next bet, Dr. Lay, if we could get one. Beat the doctor. She's got 57 against these other horses that are just...
Oh, now you're a weights man as well. No, you want to ring Davo up and ask what its track work sections were.
That's the mentoring kicking in. That's the $29 a week kicking in. Some of these are tough horses that have been running in group level, and then you got this horse who's beaten nothing. Like that's what everyone says. Oh, this horse hasn't won for 3 years. Well, it's been racing Group 1s, and this horse has won 7 in a row because it's beaten nothing. I'm taking on.
It's won 7 in a row, is it?
Yeah, it's never been.
And they put it up $6.
And it won when it bled.
Yeah, that happens.
It's not an easy thing to do.
Because the book, they're telling you that it's got no chance in this race.
Who's telling you?
The price assessors. They don't get them all right, but they might have this one right.
What price assessors? Tell me a place that's got a price assessor. Huh? Tristan. Tristan's the only one. 40, he's the only one hanging on to the staff. Everyone else, my God.
2,000 at 3.30 was the top sport steamer, Literary Magnate. I'd take any other ticket in this race to beat that thing. All right, DK, any closing thoughts?
No, just give Laurie strength today, and Jericho Sunday.
Oh, is it?
Nico, we've got Moe, Yarra Glen's underwater, so transferred. Moe get another meeting, 539 nominations. That'll be big. Anyway, but we'll find something.
All right, Jericho on Sunday. I'm sure the boys from the racing show, T-Dogs and Nico, will find you when they're there, so make sure you follow their channel. Haven't got time to talk about it, but I'm disappointed that their horse that can only run in 3 races a year isn't featured there, Nico, so disappointing. You've missed the opportunity there. Goodbye.